What is happening YouTube? Today I want to go over storytelling and what are the elements of a good story, right? To be an effective communicator, the easiest way to get points across is tell a good story. So I want to get right to it. In this particular story, it is Matthew McConaughey being interviewed by George Lopez. And Matthew is a master storyteller. He's so good at this, and he uses lots of really, really good elements. And I saw as somebody on YouTube being interviewed, and they talked about what makes a good story in the simplest way, the simplest two things to have in a story to make it a good story. Number one, intention. Number two, obstacle. If you can have intention, obstacle. Intention, obstacle. I heard him say, worship at the altar of intention, obstacle. What does that mean? So your character who's in the story has to have a goal. They have to have some objective that they're driving towards. And then there has to be an obstacle, something that gets in their way, something they have to overcome that's preventing them from getting to their goal. So if your story has intention and obstacle, those are kind of the bones to create at least a bare minimum for a good, compelling story. Now, some of the other things that Matthew does in this story that make it really good are several of the points. Number two, I guess this could be, he keeps up the curiosity, right? So in the story, you got to try to draw people to the edge of their seats. Well, you can do this by just dropping in hints that make people want to know more about what happens next, raising the stakes, right? Drop in little pieces in the story that make it risky for the character in the story, right? They have something to lose. All right, number three is humor. Humor is like a lubricant to any story and just keeps people engaged. He does a really, really good job of sprinkling in pieces of humor, pieces of things that are funny throughout the story, right? This can be done by like word choice. This could be done by things like physical comedy. This could be done by, there's all kinds of ways to sprinkle in humor. This could be done by the way you say things or a punchline, a big punchline. So not all humorous stories have to have a punchline, but if it does have a punchline, it's better. And he does this in this story. He has a punchline. And then I guess number four is body language. So obviously he's a great actor, and in the story you'll see that he uses elements of acting where he gets really, really physical and acts things out, acting like the characters in the story. And then number six, paint a vivid picture, right? Instead of saying the thing that you're talking about, paint a picture of what you're talking about. Describe it, make people see it, put people in the picture in your story that you're telling, right? And I'm going to run this, I'm going to roll it, and I'm going to stop it and kind of point out different points that I see as I see them
So
come
when you
out.
were growing up in a very Latino place, was there also different other people of color? Were there African-American people?
Yeah, well, in Uvalde it was 82% Mexican, but then we moved to Longview up in northeast Texas, which had a large black community. And same way as in Uvalde, I mean, I tried to venture off and to meet them, and I had a lot of black friends as well. There was times where I probably went some places that wouldn't have been recommended, and pulled off some cultural exchanges at late nights in the
What
hour.
do you mean? Like what? Restaurants or?
So right there, example of word choice, right? He says, wouldn't have been recommended, which is a funny way of putting something because recommendation is normally used for like restaurants, foods, things like that, or a doctor recommending you do a regimen. But he's using it in the context of going to a dangerous restaurant. It wouldn't have been recommended. The other thing is cultural exchanges, right? When you think about a cultural exchange, you think about, what is it, a government, something educational, something sponsored by your local town, right? But he uses a cultural exchange as going into this bar where a bunch of people hate him. It's a bunch of black people who want to kick his ass, essentially, and he's just some dumb high school kid who wanders into this, so it's a cultural exchange. So he uses it out of context in a funny way, and he gets that laugh.
I wouldn't necessarily call this place a restaurant. me and my buddy Rob Bindler had out one night. And again, just curious and high school kids, and we're about 17 years old. And we head over to the east side of town in Longview, which was 100% black, right? We'd heard about this.
Again, right there, he's using specificity, 99.9, not 100%, and he gets that laugh.
Plays from some of our buddies in school, our black friends, about it, called the Paradise Club. The Paradise was boarded up Sunday through Friday, right? But Saturday night, the Paradise was rocking, right? So we get over there in East Longview. We head up there to the Paradise. We show up, we get to the door, and there's 2 steps, and there's this big black guy who's a bouncer there. And he's like, man, what the y'all doing here? He said, we would come in and check out y'all's place, man. And there was a sign that said cover, you know, $2. And he said, come on in. I said, we need to pay the cover. He goes, no, because you're the only white motherfucker that ever done a bit in this place. So we go in.
Again, right there, upping the curiosity, right? He's raising the stakes, right? This bouncer who normally charges $2, just letting him in because you idiots are only the ones dumb enough to come in. So what's going to happen next? We're thinking, well, what's going to happen next?
Cultural exchange, right? We go to the bar, get our malt liquor, man. We're sitting there. We got this older guy, about 75, next to us, who takes his pull off this malt liquor. Bam! Hits the ground. Well, I get up, like I want to help this guy up, and as soon as I do, I get bumped out of the way, and 2 of these big black bouncers grab this guy and just out the door. So we're like, okay, we're in a serious place. They threw out one of the locals like that. Well, we hang out, have a few drinks. Go dance with some of the ladies of the night who were working for the man who was honestly in the you know, the leather, you know, the purple cap with the feather in it. Yeah. This cap was in this place. All right, and you know the terry cloth tops. That's what they were wearing. So
All right, notice how good he is at, again, raising the stakes, right? There's a local that just passed out, and then the staff guys just throw him out like he's a piece of trash, right? So if he treats a local like that, what is he going to do to these random visitors who are coming in? So raising the stakes, and then he walks by and sees a pimp, right? The guy in the terry cloth. And notice the physical comedy. Look how good he is at the physical comedy and the physical acting. But he doesn't just say pimp, right? He says there's a guy in the hat and the terry cloth, right? There's pimps in there. But again, raising the stakes and really, really good description to kind of paint a picture of what he's actually talking about.
One jukebox, and we're dancing, and we're just, you know, getting along with everybody. And we stay there for a few hours, and the place closes, and we get outside, and we'd made a few friends. We're outside in the parking lot, and we're talking with them and everything. And all of a sudden, from across this gravel parking lot, here comes these 12 black fellas, man. And they're moving kind of fast and kind of aggressive. Well, word that everything got out that those 2 white motherfuckers were over here in the Paradise Club, right?
Look at that. Instead of like these fellas coming at us, he says they're moving kind of fast, kind of aggressive. Like he builds that curiosity. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And he's really good at describing things. You can really picture what's going on. I love that.
They come up and they horseshoe me and my buddy against this fence. Now, the couple we were talking to just drifted off real quick. All right? So they horseshoe us up against the fence, and I'm in my mind going, oh, here we go. I'm with my buddy, Bendler, who doesn't weigh $125 soaking wet, all right? And they come in, they horseshoe us against the fence, and the leader was about 5'5", the shortest of all of them, and he steps forward and he goes, what the y'all doing on the side of town? I said, no, we just came over. He goes, no, I don't want to hear nothing about it, man. You look just like the white that jumped my little brother. And I went, no. And he goes, no, you do look just like the white that jumped my little brother. 16 white jumped my little brother. My heart rate starts beating. I'm going, I don't know where this is going. My buddy who's lit, right? The $125 guy he's lit. He goes, 16? How do you have time to count? Right? And at this moment, I see the leader's eyes. And the leader who's up there like this goes, it locked him up. He goes, and as soon as he looked around like, that's a good question. I grabbed my buddy, man.
And there he is. He delivers the punchline of this whole joke. But you can tell that, see, he sprinkles in funny parts throughout the story. And he didn't even have to have this punchline, and it would have been a great story. But he has this punchline, and obviously that enhances the story. And then going throughout this, you'll see at the rest of the story, he'll have really, really good physical acting. Just watch this part.
He just blew through him Red Rover style, man. Taking off hauling ass. Now, check this out. So we're running down the road, man. And we had a buddy named Clay who wouldn't come in, was scared to come in. So he parked the Jeep about, about 500 yards down the road. And we're running, and we're yelling, Clay! Clay! We see this head pop up at the back of the Jeep, and it's Clay. He starts up the Jeep, backs it up down the road, and then starts taking off slowly to our running speed. And we jumped in the back of that. Somebody's like handing off a baton in the relays in the Olympics. And there was 12 right behind us. We're like, woo! Anyway, some of our friends had heard about it at school. I heard about it who lived over there. So we got back to school. They were actually more amazed that we decided to actually go on that side of town than we were. But we got on out of there, and it was good cultural exchange.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that. It's such a great story. And again, he's just so laid back when he's telling his story, and you can tell his physical acting, right? You know, he's running, hands it off as he jumps onto the Jeep like a baton. And he says, you know, his friend Clay, who's in the Jeep, like pops up. Like all of the acting, the physical movement really, really enhances the story. But kind of to bring everything together, you know, tie everything together, intention, obstacle, right? Every good story has intention, obstacle. Number 2, he keeps the curiosity up. So he raises the stakes throughout the story by making the situation seem more dangerous, right? These foolish high school kids wander into the wrong bar, and they've got all these enemies, right? All these things that are happening, and you're thinking, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Number 3, he keeps the humor going, right? He sprinkles in humor by using specificity, uses funny words that are out of context, and then he's got that awesome punchline that's in there. Hey, buddy. And then he uses body language, great body language, voice inflection, physical acting, and then finally he paints an amazing picture by describing things, right? He paints a very, very vivid picture by describing what something is, how something looks, instead of telling us what it is. So all of those great things make this a great story. But that's it, guys. If you guys have any questions, as always, let me know. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys later.
I don't gotta talk, the Lord defends me. I watch them all fall for going against me. Cause me and all my